Hello, and welcome to this special, obviously Creative Thursday today. It's Thursday where we do all great stuff. Today, if you're just feeling like you just need a relaxed evening, you just want something in the background, then, or you need help going to sleep, which is strange. But we're gonna basically be reading something, so hopefully, you enjoy it. Anyway, we're going to begin. And how we're going to begin is simple. Terror. Martin Beggs enjoyed science as a child. He read about people who made huge world-changing discoveries, and he had wondered what emotions he would feel if he ever discovered something really earth-shattering. Now he had made just such a discovery, and he was surprised to find that the answer was absolutely brow-loosening terror. Martin didn't consider himself a hacker. He didn't like the image that the label implied. Sure, as a teenager he experimented with the whole pose, but found that rebelling against everything all the time was just too exhausting. It was like an emotional treadmill. It never ended and never got you anywhere. Because when you live in a state of constant open rebellion, the powers that be disregard you. So Martin decided that he wasn't a hacker. He was just a guy who really liked monkeying with computers. Martin was spending the evening his usual way, poking around the internet, seeing what he could get away with. The TV droned away in the background, providing ambient light, occasional distraction, and the illusion of human contact. He knew that many of the things he was doing were technically illegal, but he kept his tampering strictly harmless. That way the authorities wouldn't bother with him, as long as more destructive perpetrators were roaming free. He told himself that, but was too smart to really believe it. That didn't stop him from waking up his computer every evening and seeing what he could see. This night, he was poking around the servers of a cell phone manufacturer that had been in business since the 1930s, when they made AM radios the size of post boxes. He hadn't done anything particularly bad. He didn't have to force his way in. Anyone with a working knowledge of network structure and a willingness to look at a tremendous amount of stupefying boring information could have found the file. It was the kind of file nobody ever looked at. 5 terabytes of plain ASCII text characters. Even its name made Martin sleepy. The moment that Martin thought no sane person would be interested in a file like that was the moment he decided to give it a look. He figured it would take far too long to download, so instead he chose to access it directly using a terminal emulator. When it opened, the file appeared to be an endless series of huge, discrete blocks of data. The individual chunks were massive triangles of number tossed with rare pieces of recognizable text. He might be disregarded the file. He may have disregarded the file entirely. What the hell? If not for the fact that many of the numbers appeared to be changing constantly. He double-checked. This was his default text editor, and he hadn't, as far as he knew, been updated to allow this sort of thing. But there it was. The first thing Martin always did when he found some new data file was to search for his own name. It may seem egogenetic, but Martin was worried about that. He had spent a lot of time thinking about himself in the bathroom and touching himself, sadly.